putting that aside, we're going to dive right into our discussion here. And as always, folks, post your questions. Give us a call if you have any questions, 212-406-8989. We've been getting a ton of calls and questions. This week was like the upstate New York week. We got a bunch of calls from upstate New York for some reason. Maybe there's something in the water up there, but apparently a lot of injuries and a lot of questions from upstate New York. But as always, you know, we're always here to help. If you're out of New York State, we only do New York State workers' comp here. If you're out of state and you need help finding an attorney, give us a call, 212-406-8989. So first slide here, when can you settle your workers' compensation case? You can settle your workers' compensation case anytime you want. Now, one thing about a settlement, oops, let me do not disturb that so we don't get bothered there. So we're back. So the one thing about a settlement that a lot of people don't understand, and it's a pretty basic concept, but again, I'm not expecting everyone to know, settlements are voluntary actions by both parties, by you, the injured worker, and by the defense, the insurance company, the big evil insurance carrier. And no one can force anybody else to settle their case, technically. Do they coerce you by offering you money that you find acceptable? Do you coerce them by agreeing to give up any further claim for benefits on your case? Yes, but you can't be forced to settle your workers' compensation case. So you might want to settle your case tomorrow, and you might send a demand to the insurance company to settle your case. And they could turn around and say, no, we're not interested. Or they could just do nothing, not respond. Happens all the time, unfortunately. So, you know, in order for a case to be settled, you need two willing parties, kind of like a marriage. You need both sides to be on board to get a settlement done in order for the case to settle. But technically, you could send a demand to settle your workers' compensation claim anytime you want and start the negotiation process, and hopefully you can get the insurance company on board and you could reach an amicable resolution, as we call it. So you could have gotten hurt 3 weeks ago, and you could say, look, you know, for whatever reason, maybe I could settle this case for a quick and easy buck, and I'll throw a demand at them. Technically, you could do that anytime you want during your case. But, and here's the big but, it's not always the smartest thing to do. You want to settle your case, and you want to strike while the iron's hot. You want to go at them and start your negotiations when you can get to the peak of the value of your case. And that's where an attorney really comes in and gets the job done for you, because we can kind of see that case unfold, and we know what the laws are and how cases develop and when that point in time is, and we try to get you the most amount of money. And usually, you know, the everyday client, the everyday injured worker, unfortunately doesn't always have that type of understanding as to when to start working on a settlement of their case. And you don't want to do it prematurely, and you don't want to wait too long either, because you know there's only a finite amount of benefit that you're allowed to get through a workers' compensation claim, and you don't want to let the ship pass too far, because then there's not much left, not much meat on the bone, as we say. Usually, you know, the rule of thumb, you want to try to start working on settlements of the case around the time that maximum medical improvement is being found, permanency being directed, but you're not too far down that road, and that's when you want to try to start getting involved on negotiating an overall settlement of your case. But again, it differs from case to case and situation to situation. In circumstances where you have a case where there's a controverted claim, where the insurance company is disputing the claim, and you know, we've seen cases that are controverted, and you know, a lot of times with construction cases where there's general contractors and subcontractors, and you know, I work for National Construction, and the board put on notice National Contracting, Patriot Plumbing, and you know, things like that. You know, and names get confused, and different parties got to get put on notice. Sometimes those litigations can drag out and take a long time. And next thing you know, before the case is even resolved or is even gone to trial, you're done with your treatment. So it's early, even if there's been a long stretch of time, you're still not very far down the litigation road. You might not have an established case, but you can start settling at that point too. And sometimes it's worthwhile for the insurance company or companies in some of those circumstances to try to resolve your case with a Section 32 and eliminate all the senseless time wasting litigation that's going on. So it really depends, and that's why it's important to speak to an attorney. It's funny, we were just I was having a little chat with some of our people this morning, and by well, we'll talk about that. Having a lawyer, I hate to be a salesman for myself and for other attorneys, but it's really important that you speak to an attorney. Why is that? Because we know the process. We know how it works. We know where the value lies. We know where the value doesn't lie. We had a client call up the other day and told me, I owe this much in rent, and I know we've gone through this stuff before, and I owe this much in credit card bills. I get it, and those things just aren't factors. And it's funny because at one point the person said to me, I know this doesn't mean anything, but I've had so much pain and suffering and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you're right. It doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately, there's no value in things like that. So having an attorney from the get is so important because, we could steer the ship in the right direction. Like I said, we were talking about it this morning. I was in Costco actually yesterday afternoon, and I was talking to the gentleman who was helping me load the cart and do my checkout, and he was explaining how he hurt his foot while working for a national package delivery service, and how they gave him such a hard time, and they didn't. All he wanted was to just get his basic treatment, and he couldn't get treatment, and they wouldn't pay his hospital bill, and they really kind of blocked him from getting the things that he's legally entitled to. And I said to him, why don't you call a lawyer? And he says, I never thought to do that. And we're here to help. When those insurance companies and those businesses, those large companies see that you have an attorney, they know that we know what we're doing to get you what you need. And a lot of times it reduces the overall battle and the time and the fighting to get what you are entitled to. And this guy hurt his leg, went to the ER, tried to go for additional treatment, and they told him you're not allowed to, and he didn't go, and now his leg is killing him. And it's been a while since the accident happened, and if you go file a case now, it looks bad. You're fighting upstream at this point to just get to square one where you would be if you would have just spoken to a lawyer and filed your case timely and didn't present those problems to the insurance company to kind of hang their hat on to make it look like you don't have a valid case. So it's so important that you call an attorney and you get them on board for the prosecution of your case, for the settlement of your case. Settling your case, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but generally speaking, a lawyer is going to get you more money than you're going to get on your own. I know in some of our past videos, not the lives, but there's some videos on YouTube. We pulled statistics off various sources of authority, for lack of a better term, that show that having a lawyer gets you more money from your settlement. So it's certainly worthwhile to and again, I said it before, there's a lot of great attorneys out there. I am not the only one, but speak to an attorney, get somebody to help you. You basically, in the workers' compensation world here in New York State, you get free legal advice and legal assistance up until the time that we do something to get you paid, and only then do we get paid. So you have us on board. Why not take advantage of those opportunities that the law gives you? When will the workers' compensation insurance company send a settlement offer? Now, again, this is more of a misconception that we see a lot. People seem to think that nothing is going to happen until the insurance company offers you money. The insurance company is not the authority. The insurance company is on equal footing as us. See, YouTube doesn't see where there it is. They don't hold any power over you. They are the ones they're your opposition. The workers' compensation board is the authority here. So we're not bound by what the insurance company does and doesn't want to do. If you want to settle your case, if you're ready to settle your case, if you speak to your lawyer and you guys decide it's time to settle your case, send a demand. Send an email to the insurance company. Hey, my client's interested in settling the case. Well, this is what we would do as the attorney. This is our demand, and try to get you what you're looking for. So you don't necessarily have to wait for the insurance company. to offer you anything, you can start the process on your own. Now, they could send you a settlement offer letter. They could present you with an offer or present your attorney with an offer. It could be at any point in time. It could be very quickly, especially in controverted claims. We've seen it before in cases where there's a lot of outstanding, convoluted, crazy issues of employer-employee relationship and accident and injury and pre-existing condition. A lot of times an insurance company will say, rather than fight and fight and fight, here's some money. They try to give you as little as you can to take the bait, and a lot of times they'll offer you a settlement up front, just to try to get this thing closed so that we don't have to go years and years and years of litigation and fighting and appeals and all that stuff. But it could also be years, it could also be never. An insurance company could also never offer you a settlement, and that it could go a lot of different ways. There are also some insurance companies that don't do Section 32 cases, or they don't do it in their regular course of business. I could think of a few right now. I could think of some insurance companies that have told us we are not doing Section 32s at the moment. We've put a stop on Section 32s until something happens. Maybe their resources are low. They don't have a lot of capital on hand to settle cases. Could be a lot of different reasons, but certainly I could think of some insurance companies that don't settle cases. I see some questions coming in here on the gram. I see Ms. Wenda Bell is saying Rex is the best. Yes, thank you. That's very nice of you. And I see questions pouring in on YouTube. I'm going to get to your questions today, folks, and I appreciate keep them coming, and we'll do everything we can to answer all your questions. Like I said, different insurance companies do have different tactics and techniques, and some of them don't do it all. Some do try to catch you up front with a lowball offer. I mean, that's just the law of averages. If their insurance company is exposed to 1,000 claims for the month of January 2025, and they go and throw lowball offers with 1,000 of them, and 2 or 3 take that offer and run away, there's a good chance that they save themselves a boatload of cash. So that does happen sometimes. That includes the saving on medical expenses and the exposure to future medical care. They know that down the road, injuries sometimes get worse. Treatment doesn't always help, and they might be exposed to future medical bills. So if they can buy you out quick and easy and get rid of you, that's what they're going to do. Some also use it as a technique or a tactic to make you anxious and nervous and worried. Wow, if I don't take this money, my case might lose value over time. I better take this and settle the case and be done with it. On the average, though, in terms of the time frame to settling a case, I always tell people your workers' compensation case follows you and follows your injuries, and not vice versa. We don't dictate how your case develops. Your treatment and your condition and your ability to return to work dictate how we handle your case. So we kind of follow you rather than you follow our lead. And according to the treatment guidelines here in New York State, a scheduled loss of use injury, as we discussed, usually takes about a year from your date of accident or your date of surgery to resolve. And non-schedules, you're looking at 18 to 24 months usually. Really depends on the nature of your overall injuries and your disabilities. But we follow you. So when you're starting to reach that point of maximum medical improvement, like we said before, that's kind of when we start gearing up to work on a settlement of your case. But again, it really depends on the specific circumstances of you that you're in and that your case is in. But average 12 to 18 months, give or take, could be a little more, could be a little less. It really depends on the nature of the injury. A total knee replacement could take a little longer than a fractured pinky. So, you get it. You guys aren't dumb. You understand what I'm saying. Why might you receive an offer sooner rather than later? Well, that's a question that we get a lot. Why would a settlement come sooner rather than later? Well, if it's clear that you don't need surgery or any in-depth, highly invasive, expensive is really what it comes down to, treatment or testing, maybe they're going to say, look, you don't need surgery. Both doctors agree you don't need surgery. You need a little physical therapy. Here's XYZ dollars. Take it. Have a nice day. So a lot of times in circumstances that are less significant, they might try to buy you out. By the same token, it could be the other extreme. If you have a very severe, significant, horrible accident, horrible injury, it's pretty apparent what a total disability is worth. It's pretty apparent what a very high schedule loss of use of a body part is worth. It's pretty apparent what treatment is going to be necessary. So sometimes they kind of just cut to the chase and they say, look, you're, however old you are, and these are your injuries, and this is what we're expecting to pay out over time. We'll give you X dollars right now and be done with this thing right now. Circumstances where an injury could be expected to worsen over time. Those are cases where insurance companies oftentimes try to get settled. You see a lot with knee injuries or back injuries. They don't want to be on the hook for total knee replacement 10 years down the road. So when you get your scheduled loss, 15% scheduled loss of a knee because you hurt the knee, and you may or may not need a total knee replacement in 10 or 15 or 20 years, the insurance company might give you a couple extra bucks with that schedule, close your case, and not have to worry about a total knee replacement in 10 years. So that's one time where they try to kind of just cap it and be done. And I mean, listen, if you don't need a knee replacement, you made that ahead because they usually give you a few more dollars than what your schedules are worth. But if you do need that knee replacement down the road, then you have an issue because you're going to be stuck paying for it from the proceeds of that settlement. So it's something you absolutely have to keep in mind when you settle that case. Like we said before, another reason why you might get a quick offer is because they think you'll accept it. Law of averages. If we throw a low number at 1,000 people and one take it, then great. Then we're saving money. If we know this guy, listen, they do their research on you sometimes. And if they know that you really are hard up for cash, or if you tell them that, they might just throw money at you, try to get rid of you on the quick and easy. So it's something that we do see from time to time. And again, having an attorney there to kind of give you some good valuation is smart, which is why you should call an attorney like me, 212-406-8989. It reminds me of a story. I had a client years ago, and the insurance company offered him a very low initial settlement. And he was not the brightest guy. He jumped on it. I want it. And I said, I think it's a low offer. Well, I don't want them to take the number off the table. I don't want it to go down. I said, okay, well, that's fine. I said, do you want me to try to negotiate for more? And he said, is there a possibility that they could withdraw their initial offer? I said, there's a possibility they could do. It's voluntary. Settlements, negotiations, and settlements are all voluntary. You could reach an agreement to settle a case, and the insurance company could walk into the Section 32 settlement hearing and say, Judge, we don't want to settle anymore. Have a nice day, and walk out. And that's it. There's nothing you can do to keep them there. So is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. When you enter into negotiation, does it nullify the last offer when you make a counteroffer? Technically, the laws of negotiations are yes. If I offer $1,000 to you and you come back and you say that you want $1,500, well, yeah, that $1,000 is now off the table because we're negotiating. But this gentleman did not want to take it. He didn't want to run any risk whatsoever, despite my expert legal advice that we should negotiate. And he made me take their initial low offer, and he was thrilled with it. And unfortunately, I think we could have done significantly better. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Not everybody wants to listen to me. So next, why might they wait before sending an offer? Another related important question. They could wait before sending you an offer because they want to see what the outcome of your surgical request is or your treatment requests that are out there. I use surgery as a generic way of saying expensive, big treatment. But if there's something that's being requested, even expensive testing, the insurance company might wait and see how the authorization and how the litigation from the board is going to go. They might wait before sending an offer or entering into negotiations because they're disputing your case. They're fighting your case. They think they have a very good chance to win on the merits, and they might not want to even enter into negotiation. I always think that's stupid for the insurance company because at the very least, it's the cost of litigation they have to incur, even if they think they're going to be successful. And there's always something to be worked out. The other big thing that they do, we see this with the state insurance fund. They hold out on offers. They hold out on negotiation. They're trying to make you desperate. That's what I have that feeling that they do that sometimes, just to kind of get you on the hook, get you interested, and then drag it out so that when money does come across, they think you're going to jump on it. So yeah, I think that's another reason why they drag things out sometimes, because they get you. It's like you're a Pavlovian dog. They get you salivating, and then they don't feed you, and then all of a sudden when the money hits, they think you're going to hop on it. So it's something that we see a lot. Let me see here. Okay. So I see a couple questions coming in here, not so much on the Section 32 topic. I mean, that's the extent of my slides. The last one I was just going to say, what if they never send an offer? Is there anything you can do? Yeah, you could send a demand. If you want to settle, if you're ready to settle, if your circumstances are such that you want to be done with this, talk to your lawyer and send a demand. Go have an appointment, sit down. I love when my clients come in and we sit down and I go over their case with them and I crank out the numbers and I show them where the value is and where the value isn't, and what we should be looking for, what our high expectation is, what our low expectation is, what we're looking for. And this is what I think your case is worth. This is what I'm going to ask for. This is how I'm going to go about it. And I give them the whole game plan and strategy. We go through a lot of legal pads here. For small cases, we use the small legal pad. I'm just kidding. But make an appointment. Go talk to your lawyer and send in a demand. Go at them. Why not? You don't have to sit back and wait for the big bad insurance company to tell you when and for how much you're going to settle your case. If the terms of your life are such that it's time for you to settle, go and do what you got to do and settle your case. So, it's completely, like I said, it's a two-sided thing. You're not bound, but you got to get both sides on board in order to settle your case. We got some questions here. Okay. I'm just going to. You love listening to me? El Hassan Taim. Well, thank you. I got to say, the last week or two, we've been getting some very heartfelt, wonderful accolades in the comments and the questions and the phone calls. These people, some people have been calling in with some very nice things to say, and it makes me feel good. So thank you. Let's see, Tony D. What's up, Rex? Got my case affirmed, but the board said it can go back to the workers' compensation law judge about the general special, but have to pay benefits. What will happen now, most likely? I am going to need a lot more information if we're going to talk about general special. General special employment, lent employments, dual employments are all confusing things. General special is always lent. It's like you work for an employment agency and they send you to go work at a construction site or something like that. And it's sometimes confused with dual employment, where your work is working for two employees at the same time. But these are convoluted issues. But if your case got affirmed and the board wants you to go back to the law judge about general special, I don't know what aspect of the clearly something was appealed and what got affirmed. Maybe it was a finding of general special, but it sounds like the judge wants you to go back for further development of the record, we call it. So there's some unanswered questions out there. Talk to your lawyer ahead of time before your hearing. Have a sit down so you know what to expect. Don't go into your hearing blind. This way you can answer your questions. Which brings me to, I don't know if you could tell, I might have some red marks on my forehead because I was banging my head into the wall earlier today. When you have to give testimony at a hearing or a trial, anytime you're going in front of the judge and you have to give testimony, talk to your lawyer. This shirt looks very wrinkled on camera. It's not, I promise. Talk to your lawyer ahead of time. Be prepared for what's to come. And when you do go and give testimony, please, for the love of God, just tell the truth. That's all. It's mind-boggling why people, I don't understand why you prep somebody and they tell you A, and they tell you the truth, and then you go to court and for some reason they just lie. Tell the truth, be honest. Even if it's a harmful truth, it's easier to get through that than to unravel a lie. So please, be honest. So Tony D, you're going to go back and talk to your lawyer. He's going to prep you. You're going to have a chat, and then you're going to go to court. You're going to tell the truth, because that's what works. So my favorite topic. So my favorite topic is settling too, not trials. Victoria, hello Rex. I have 2 injuries, knee and foot. Went to the foot doctor today. I have to complete a functional capacity test. What to expect? So I'm assuming that you're not in New York State. We do functional capacity evaluations in New York. And by the look of your picture, is that Philadelphia? Snow, and that building looks very Philly-like, maybe Chicago, hard to tell. But we don't do functional capacity evaluations as a lot of places do them as an IME. Functional capacity evaluations are done here by doctors performing their assessments. They're part of an overall functional assessment for ongoing disability or permanent disability, but it's not a test in and of itself that you see regularly here in New York State. So when I hear functional capacity evaluation, functional capacity test, I think you're outside of New York State. But 2 injuries, knee and foot, went to the foot doctor today. Are your 2 injuries 2 separate accidents, or is it 1 accident, 2 injuries? But, and who's giving this functional capacity evaluation? Is it your doctor or is it the insurance company doctor? If it's your doctor, sounds like you're probably reaching the point of permanent disability. If it's the insurance company doctor, it could be the same, and it could be them trying to reduce benefits. I don't know. I don't know what state you're in. I need some more information. It's a great picture, though. But it sounds like things are happening. And when things are happening, that's usually a good thing. Your case is moving down the road. If in fact, Victoria, you are in Philly, which saddens me to tell you, let's go Mets. It's going to be a heck of a year this year. And it's our year. We need it. Okay. Victoria, should I think about someone after the functional capacity test? So, not a bad idea. Functional capacity evaluations generally are assessments of permanent disability. So if that is the purpose of your functional capacity evaluation, then it might not be a bad idea to start gearing up for some settlement negotiations if you're ready for it. If there's no big treatment down the road or anything like that, then perhaps it's a good time to speak to your lawyer, have a chat, have a sit down, and see if if you guys are ready to settle your case. Automaton. I've reached MMI. Claim was approved, surgery approved, physical therapy approved. The whole process was fairly smooth. Neck fusion. Wow. Workers' comp adjuster hired a defense attorney because of settlement. Yes, a lot of times they will hire the defense attorney because of settlement. Why? Because honestly, a lot of times they hire a defense counsel to draft the settlement documents, and they figure if you're going to be drafting, you might as well negotiate it anyway. We're paying you. So yes, it happens. Sometimes they don't have the aptitude to negotiate. There are adjusters that don't or can't or won't or don't have authority to settle and actually negotiate. So that could be why it's happening. But if you have a good workers' compensation attorney, usually they know who the defense attorney is. They've worked together in the past. Hopefully they have a good rapport. Hopefully they have a good relationship. And it's the type of thing where they can come to a resolution of your case that's beneficial to you and get you what you're looking for. I see these questions here. I don't know what order they come in. QME is 34 days late. This is my second one. First QME said 0 disability. QME, I'm assuming you're in California. QME is the term I hear for California IMEs. You have a lawyer. Will I get settlement, ankle injury, seeing PTP? I've been MMI for 6 to 8 months. Never got my PDA or started it. Okay, well, something's up. I would certainly have a chat with my lawyer, since you said you had a lawyer, because, you know, here in New York, it could be because the case is still pending litigation. It could be because there's an uninsured employer. It could be a lot of different reasons. If I were you, I would call my lawyer and have a chat with them and try to get to the bottom of why it's taking so long, because it just seems a little bit, something's a little bit off, but it could be something completely within the bounds of what is ordinary, and I just don't have enough information. TMCA 60, frequent contributor, sometimes asks some knuckleheaded questions. Can the insurance company consult a doctor and ask their opinion on a settlement amount to be offered? That's a very good question. They can consult their doctor, they can consult the IME doctor, they can speak to their medical consultants, which could also include a nurse case manager and whoever they have in-house. They generally will not consult with treating doctors to determine settlement amounts, but they will speak with their own doctors. They won't generally. I mean, I've never seen it. I've never worked on the defense side. I don't see that. I have never seen a doctor offer them a dollar value or a monetary value on what they think. They'll give the medical opinion, which the insurance company will then convert into dollars and cents. So it does happen, and that's really the purpose of the IME for the most part. Good question, TMCA. Jay Wizzle. If the court orders a date for objections to be made and there isn't any news of objections, second surgery is still on the table, physical therapy is requested again, is now a good time to settle it? Second surgery is still on the table. I would, if you need surgery, if you're going to ask me yes or no without knowing any other information here, I'm going to tell you no. I'm a proponent of waiting to have all your surgery done before you settle the case. Everybody's different. We've settled cases before where the surgery was still pending, still on the table, but and it's infrequent. And I do have clients that have had surgery, and then God forbid MRSA hits or an infection or a revision has to happen. If you're going to get surgery, get your surgery. Okay, Jay Wiz, the insurance company will keep medical open. If that's the case, that's a little bit safer. But again, God forbid you go and have whatever surgery it is, and you're expected to have a 50% permanent disability following that surgery, and God forbid some freaky infection hits that makes you more disabled. Well, you already settled out your case, so you're not going to get the overall value of what your disability would get for you. But again, you're getting that money up front quickly and easily, so maybe it is worthwhile. But if you speak to some of my clients who have had those unfortunate infections and are going through hell and back dealing with those disabilities, they would tell you that you might want to wait. But again, that is the minority. Not everybody gets an infection following surgery. It's very rare. Hospitals are clean places and so on and so forth, but it does happen. It's a consideration. And it just absolutely sucks when you got to tell somebody, look, you settled your case, so you're kind of stuck right now. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The phone is blocking. Okay. Bridget Golding, I fell at work, I hit my head, was unconscious for less than 30 minutes. I'm not a doctor. I only play one on TV, but you're welcome, Jay Whistle. But, and I forget what the cutoff is, but it's like if you have a loss of consciousness for 30 seconds or more, or 2 minutes or more, it's like a whole different category. 30-minute loss of consciousness is significant. I fell at work, hit my head, was for less than 30 minutes. I'm 2 years into post-concussion syndrome. Workers' comp has not made any offer. I think they are hoping I die. 2 years into concussion syndrome, I had MNI. I don't know what MNI is. That's I mean, you're saying the bad part out loud. I don't think anybody's hoping that you die. But the other issue with post-concussion syndrome and head injuries, it's almost like a psychological disability. I mean, it is, and it can be part and parcel of one in a lot of ways, but they're not readily apparent, like a broken arm or a torn hip flexor or whatever. Things like that. An MRI shows what the problem is. Post-concussion syndrome, you could say I haven't slept in 3 days and I have a constant headache and I hear ringing and I have a sensitivity to light, and they have to take your word for it. So a lot of times that's why they're a little more difficult cases, those head injury where there's a big head component, because number one, they don't know for sure if you're malingering or being less than truthful. Number two, a lot of times they get better. As the swelling goes down, as function increases, as your physical injuries increase, a lot of times when there's a psychological component, a big part of the psychological claim is that the depression of not being able to work and not being able to earn money and take care of one's family and so on and so forth. So in addition to the depression of being injured, there's the added depression of not being able to provide. And as your injuries get better and you feel better, the depression subsides. And as you get better and you feel better and you start doing some work that puts food on the table, your depression subsides even more. So a lot of those things are tied together, which is why head injuries and psychological cases are kind of more readily controverted and fought by the insurance company. So you do see a lot of that. But I'm sorry, I mean, loss of consciousness for approximately 30 minutes. That's terrible. I really feel for you, Bridget. I hope things are going well. Hope you start getting better. Derek, my good buddy Derek, Workers' Comp New York, back in chat. Yep, we're back. We're back, baby. Water time. Ugh. Okay. A few more questions here. We're flying today. I had like 5 cups of coffee. Where are we? Taz, long-time contributor. Adjuster takes long to approve more medical benefits on purpose to see if I'm patient enough, or they do it to see if I get tired and tell them, forget it, let's settle. Excuse me, I'm yawning now. It's been a day. Yeah, a lot of times, listen, they're never going to admit to it. I'm never going to outrightly accuse anybody of doing it. But yes, insurance companies will wait to the 30th day to approve something if they have 30 days to approve or deny, or 30 days to deny it and put you into the next round of waiting 30 days. Just to test, just to push, they take it to the limits of the law. And yeah, sometimes it's to drive you to settle. Sometimes, we've used the term, they starve you to settle. They cut your benefits down to the point where you have no choice but to settle. And it's very similar with your treatment. They untreat you to settle, so you could just be done with this. I had enough. So yeah, as long as it's within the limits of the law, not much you can do about it, though. It kind of sucks, but it's a very good point. YT Land, have you ever had a case when somebody was diagnosed with Cauda Equina syndrome and they didn't approve surgery after 2 years? That rings a bell. I'm looking it up. Cauda equina is a collection of nerve roots at the end of the spinal cord that control movement and sensation in the lower body. Cauda equina syndrome occurs when these nerves are compressed, usually due to herniated disc, and can result in permanent paralysis and incontinence if left untreated. So basically, you're saying they didn't approve surgery for 2 years, and the paralysis and incontinence and all those bad things. I'm very certain that I've seen that diagnosis come across my desk before. I don't recall it in any specific context. I don't recall a 2-year delay, and I certainly don't recall it resulting in permanent paralysis, but it sounds and it's looking like a very significant injury. The Cauda equina is the sac of nerve roots that leave the spinal cord between the space of the bones and the lower parts of the body. So it looks like it's the spine, the nerve roots leaving the lower spine down by your sacrum, your tailbone. Where did my spine go? My destructive spine, did it drop on the floor? I gotta find me a new spine, folks. Is that it? No, that's not my spine. I have one vertebrae. That's all I can show you right now. The tailbone is the triangle-shaped vertebrae that comes down at the bottom, and it's the nerve roots that exit out of your spine around there. So it's a very significant, severe injury, and I hope you don't have it. You just ask me questions for knowledge, because knowledge is power, but it seems bad. I hope you don't have it. Dirty Money Vintage. I can't see the rest of your code. I'm in California, been on workers' compensation since November, was offered $45,000 last week, and I counted at $150. I haven't heard back yet. Give it a couple days and then shoot them an email. Hey, just following up. Be cordial, be civil, be nice, but be persistent. You have a lawyer helping you with this? I hope so. Get as close to that 150 as possible. Talk to your lawyer, see what he recommends in terms of following up with them. If you need help, if you don't have a lawyer and you need help finding one, we do have a couple great firms out in California that we've worked with in the past that are very helpful, and we can help hook you up with them. 212-406-8989 if you need help. Tony D. Tony D was asking before. What were you asking about before? Let me find you, Tony D. Tony D. General special. You were asking about the general special question. It can only, if it has proper offer of proof, it can go back to the workers. Yeah, you're in the appellate process. Cases where appeal, especially appeals that happen and they get sent back for further development, those are ones where you need to really have to sit down with your lawyer and kind of regroup, because a lot of times that appeal will set your case off in a different direction than you were expecting. So talk to your lawyer, get on the same page there, so you know what to do moving forward. Victoria's in Maryland. What's that a picture of in your avatar? Is that an avatar? I'm gonna terms. Okay, L. Hassan Taim. Why do the adjusters usually don't improve multiple body parts and treatments? I've suffered back and neck injuries on the job 2 years ago, but only received treatment for my back. Had microdiscectomy just 5 months ago. Still in pain. How much can I recover? Question mark, question mark. So insurance companies are there to limit their exposure. If they can get away with only establishing your back and not your neck, they're going to do it. They're going to do everything they can to keep from spending as much money as you need them to spend on your case. How do they stay in business? They take money in and they pay out less. Simple as that. Having a good attorney is crucial, especially when there's body parts that they are refusing to establish or take liability for. It's hard to tell you how much money you're going to be looking at here. I don't know where your average wage is. I don't know where you're located. So there's a lot of factors that I would need to know. But you're having surgery, so there should be some value there. I don't know what your lost time is either. If you or anybody has any questions, you can always call me, 212-406-8989. Derek, lying is an Achilles heel. Remember, the opposing lawyers most likely already know the answers to the question they're going to ask you. They do. My father is a retired court reporter here in New York State. He worked in the criminal courts in Brooklyn, and he's seen some shit over the years as a court reporter doing the criminal part in Brooklyn Supreme. And when I was in law school and doing my thing and getting to the point that I'm at, we would always chat about stuff. And he said, don't ever ask a question that you don't know the answer to. And he's right. Don't ever ask a question that you don't know the answer to, because you're going to get ramrodded if you do. Even when you do know the answer to the question, your client can still steer you in an awkward direction. A defense attorney, they're not asking you questions because they want to know the answer. They know the answer. They're asking you questions it's a ballet. It's an elegant dance to get you to where they want you to go, and then say that yes or no to make their point. They know the answers. So lying only makes it worse. They're taking the facts and the truth, and they're just going to try to tweak it and twist it and push it and pull it in a way that works for them. But you can only bend so much. But once you lie to them, you break it, and now it's all over. Don't lie, please. Thank you, Derek. Derek, as you know, is going to now get a gold star because, sweet Jesus, I wish there was the lying is making me insane. Thank you, Derek. Great comment. Victoria from Maryland, same accident, fell off garbage truck. My doctor asked for the test. Victoria was talking about the Maryland functional capacity evaluation. If your doctor's asking for it, he is probably looking to figure out your permanent level of disability, depending on how long ago it was. We got wise words here. Rex, what should we do? My lawyer sent 2 demands to the insurance company lawyer and has not responded. Should he send a subpoena? I don't know if it's in New York State. Here, we wouldn't send a subpoena in that circumstance. It's not when a subpoena is used. What do? You become a pain in their ass, and you call them and you email them. And it drives me bananas. If it's an unsolicited demand that your lawyer sent in, you're kind of stuck. If they don't want to answer you, they don't have to answer you. But what drives me crazy sometimes, and it's like we talked about before, them trying to create anxiety. A lot of times an insurance company will send us an email and say, hey, is your client interested in settling the case? Please let us know if he's interested. And if so, please provide us with a demand. And usually I'll say, I'll talk to my client. If there's an offer, let me know. That might speed up the process. I like getting their number from them first, but it doesn't always happen. But if they solicit a demand and I come back to them and say, my client is interested, as a matter of fact, and here's our demand, and then they sit on their ass for 6 months or a year or whatever, it drives me crazy. And I think they do it on purpose to create that anxiety, to create that a sense of despair. Wow, in a year ago, they were asking if we would settle the case, and now they're not even responding to us. So this way, when they do throw some money at you, sometimes you say, oh my God, finally, they answered me. Yeah, let's just take what they're offering so we can be done with this. I do think that does happen from time to time. It's not to say that there aren't intervening issues that arise that could change the course of a case. That does happen too. But yeah, it certainly it makes me go crazy when they just go radio silent on me. Your lawyer sent 2 demands. The insurance company has not responded. Talk to your lawyer. Sometimes it's the lawyer for the insurance company. Sometimes it's the insurance company themselves. Sometimes you got to ask for a supervisor. But you could throw the pot and try to get some movement over there and get some answers. Good one. Couple more questions here. It's 4:50. Double DTV. The phone's on the way. I had a 30% impairment rating from my doctor for a wrist injury with nerve damage, hoping they approve surgery so I can get back to regular life as I'm not fully healed. Okay. 30% I'm assuming is your 30% partial impairment, your ongoing temporary partial impairment, and it's not a 30% SLU because they would not give you a scheduled loss of use here in New York State if you were still pending surgery. So I hope you get better. RJ MacPod. RJ MacPod, 720. Can workers' compensation lawyers and rehab facilities collude to prolong treatment for kickbacks, prioritizing metal settlements over client interest? Thanks for always helping Rex and LFGM in 2025. I love it. Let's go, Mets. Great question. Great question so much that you're going to get a gold star. Great question so much that you're going to get a Let's Go Mets banner. Great question. Thank you. So where to go? I just have it here. Can workers' comp lawyers and rehab facilities collude to prolong treatment for kickbacks? So, listen, that's always the big fear with the board and the insurance companies. I've never seen it myself. Listen, is it folklore? Is it legend? Is it myth that the doctors and the lawyers and whoever work together to drag out a client's treatment for such a long period of time that it raises those bills and everyone makes money? Yeah, those rumors are out there. Again, I've never seen it. I certainly have never been a part of it. But one thing to think about, I forget, I don't know, don't quote me on the New York State workers' compensation fee schedule. Let me see if I can pull up the numbers real quick. And if I could get somebody who does know the answer to these questions. New York State. It's not as much as you think is what I'm really getting at here. So inpatient, outpatient fee schedule, 2024 fee schedule. Yeah, I don't even know how this is. But let's put it this way. Those medical facilities that could potentially prolong treatment. Let's use a chiropractor as an example. He gives you way too much chiropractic care, and you think that there's some kickbacks going one way or the other. I'm pretty sure the New York State fee schedule for a chiropractic visit is like $32 or something. Even if it's double that, it's $65, which potentially could be. How much money is there really at stake here? But listen, it does come up, and those are that's the dark side of the workers' compensation world. Again, I take pride in the fact that I go nowhere near that stuff, and I certainly haven't seen it. It's more this type of thing, chat about it. And listen, does it come up from time to time? Yeah, people get disciplinary actions brought against them for stuff like this. Yeah, but it's not frequent, not on my radar, because I try to steer clear of the bad guys. Demon haunted house. Went in for cancer surgery. Do I have to tell the insurance company? Not a bad idea. Talk to your lawyer and see what your lawyer recommends, especially if there's any proximity or relationship between the injuries. Sorry to hear about that. You get better soon. Cancer effing stinks. we're doing I do a charity event every year, folks. Speaking of cancer, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I've been doing a charity. This is my 11th year doing it. It's for the Garden of Dreams, which is the Madison Square Garden charity. The Band of Parents is the specific charity that we work with, and it's a charity that we do fundraisers to combat neuroblastoma, which is a childhood brain cancer. It doesn't get any worse than childhood cancer. So we've been doing this now for 11 years. They do all sorts of fundraisers. They do golf outings during the year and bike rides and hikes and all sorts of get-togethers with fundraisers. But this one, my favorite one, we actually get to play ice hockey on the ice at Madison Square Garden the day of a Ranger game during the afternoon, the morning. We go down there, we get together, and this is our 11th year doing it. I'll speak with Cy, and maybe we'll post a link if anybody's interested in taking a look. But it's a fantastic thing that we do, and we've raised a ton of money to fight this childhood horrible, horrible, horrible condition, neuroblastoma. It's a brain cancer that only affects children, and it's remarkable how we go, me and my friend that got me into this, and the friends I've met and made through this organization, and it changes your perspective on a lot of things. And it's remarkable how you go in there, whether it's the hockey game or a golf outing, you're so, listen, I'm just like an everyday guy. You're so pumped up to go play hockey with your friends or go play golf and have a nice day playing golf. And you start talking to people and hearing the stories about what their kids went through and what their families went through and how the organization helped them and their kids survived and how they're thriving today. It really changes your perspective on life and how things. It's amazing. And so it's a great charity. And I'll try to post something, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube or a link on a video if anybody wants to check it out. It's the Band of Parents through the Garden of Dreams, and it's really something else. So that's coming up. I just figured I'd mention that since Demon Haunted House is going through some SHIT right now, but I hope you're on the good side of that. The surgery was successful, and you're going to come out of this stronger and better and kick some ass because we need people like you. So good luck, and I hope you're feeling better, my friend. So thank you for the comment. Couple more. Let's see here. Man, you guys always come in with the questions on the back end, but we'll keep going. I do want to give one I think it's taco night with the daughter. We're having tacos for dinner. Abner Garcia. I have steroid injection because workers' comp doesn't improve it before they treat my back with steroids. I have a lawyer, but the doctor recommended to have steroids just because he said workers' comp doesn't improve surgery at first. So I just received the steroid shots. So I don't know if you're in New York State or not, Abner Garcia, but a lot of times before surgery can be approved, your doctor has to demonstrate that he's gone through the conservative care process, and the conservative care process, physical therapy and exercises and things like that, could also include lumbar epidural steroid injections or cervical steroid injections. So sometimes that's just part of the process before you get to surgery. In New York State, we have the Workers' Compensation Board Medical Treatment Guidelines. It's a guideline. It's a book that says if you have a herniated lumbar disc if you have a lumbar herniation, you do this, 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 and this. It tells you. It's a guideline for providing treatment for that particular type of injury. So that might just be on the list of conservative care before you get to the surgery option. God's time. You got to be from Boston. Had 40-pound pole fall on my neck, and now I have bulging discs and arthritis in my neck. I have an MI rating this week. What's my rating for that? Don't know. Go for your rating. Let's talk next week when you have your rating, and then we can have a little more open-ended discussion here, and I can have a better idea of what we're looking at here, because I don't know. I don't know what your imaging shows. I don't know what your doctor has to say. I don't know how old you are, what's your loss of wage earning capacity, are you in New York State, what's your average weekly wage? A lot of questions. Mr. Torre, hi Rex. Judge found me permanent partial at reduced earnings and set my CC payment half with ongoing medical treatment. Okay. I don't see a follow from you. Okay, well, it looks like you found the end of the line. You found permanency. Now talk to your lawyer about seeing if there's a possible settlement, if that, excuse me, if that's something that you want to do. So you could do that as well. TMCA, Team Ramrod, it's car Ramrod. George Howell, my insurance company is Liberty Mutual. I'm joking. My attorney reached out to them about a month ago asking if they were interested in settlement. They haven't responded. Does this mean no settlement? Not necessarily. It just means that they're not responding. Get on the phone, lawyer. Call your lawyer, come on the phone with them and make some noise and try to get an answer. Derek, talk to me, Derek. I have fusion L4 to S1. So that's L4 to L5 and L5 to S1. That's bone to sacrum. It's 2 discs, three vertebral levels. Ankle ligament reconstruction on the left ankle, weakness in the left leg, and possible piriformis removal surgery. I'm 10 years in. How much do you think my value is? I need to know your average weekly wage. I need to know your work status. There's a lot of other factors there that I would need to know about. And you also have anxiety, depression. Is this your new location or renovated area? Okay, well, we're getting off topic here. Yes, there's more information I need to know. And yes, this is our old office renovated. It's now our newly old office. Yes, we had some renovations. We got some new furniture. And they cleaned up the joint, and we're back and better than ever. So come visit us. Give us a call, 212-406-8989. I appreciate you too, my friend. El Moro Tumbado. Can they take long to send you your 2-week check? Yes. And if they take too long here in New York, you can penalize them. If the check is late, they can be penalized 20% of the late payment. That's a late payment penalty. We used to be able to get fees on them. Now they stopped giving us fees, so we're working for you when the money's late. Dirty Money Vintage says thank you, and I'm saying you're welcome. Frederick Simmons. Questions. I'm from Texas. You gotta hate that everyone probably does that stupid shit because you say you're from Texas. I apologize. That was dumb. Anyway. Catherine is telling me to wrap it up. Damn it, Catherine. I am not. I'm from Texas. Frederick Simmons is asking me, and he's from Texas. And I did a stupid Texas accent for no reason, and I feel shame. I was hurt 2022 when I fell off a locomotive. Jeez, the guy fell off a train, and I'm making fun of his accent. I've been going through it for 3 years now. Frederick, you got me, buddy. I had a concussion, messed up my shoulder and neck. I had a D&D report who first gave me 10%, got a lawyer, then they sent me back another D&D, gave me 17%. And then they sent me to another one, and he gave me a 31. Hey, man, keep going. And then now it's in front of a judge. D&D, I don't know what a D&D report is. I'm assuming that's similar to an IME report, the insurance company's doctor here in New York State, but I don't know for certain. But if you got a lawyer, man, talk to your lawyer and have an understanding. Does the big report cancel out the lower ones? Is there going to be an averaging of all of them? Just get some understanding. Managing expectations is very important in the workers' compensation game. Managing a guy who makes stupid accents, and trust me, Texas is the least of them. I do a really horrible British accent as well. But talk to your lawyer, man. And 3 years, I hope you're in that. You're in the upswing, the getting better part of your phase here, and you can start looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. And maybe you can settle your case, get some money, and be done with this. Tony's saying, gotcha. I appreciate you too, my friend. Derek, set up a call. Would love to give you patient's perspective with you on a live or a Zoom or something similar. Give me a buzz. We could talk about it. I don't know if I'm ready to share my stage yet, but give me a call, 212-406-8989. You certainly always have good questions and comments, so I'm happy to chat with you. Yeah, let's talk. MZ, I visited different doctors. I recently received mail stating that the workers' compensation insurance is not willing to pay. Oh, big surprise. They also included codes like P2, P6. Do I need to reply to the mail within 45 days? Call your lawyer. If there is a reply that needs to be made, your lawyer is probably the one that's going to do it. So I would follow up with your lawyer. Derek's back. Just an example. I went to court, got my test and consultation approved, and I've had trouble getting the MRI or scans I need for the consultation approved by the workers' compensation adjuster. Rescheduled 3 times. Listen. It can be a real shitty process. And you want to offer the client's perspective, the injured worker's perspective. That's kind of what got me into the game. I was an injured worker before I was anything, so I get it. Chris Ashley, longtime supporter. Happy New Year. I haven't gotten used to you with glasses. Can investigators legally stake out your home 24 hours and follow you and sometimes family members? Yes. That's the quick answer. Out in public, they can do whatever they want. So just be careful. And the glasses, yes, the eye is getting better. I'm allowed to wear contact lenses. I do wear them from time to time. I'm just trying to. I bought these stupid glasses and all the other ones, and I'm just trying to get good use out of them. But thank you. Couple more here. I'm running out of fuel. Sayo, he says, don't forget to like the video if you found it helpful. Likes are good for me. If this shirt is not good, it gets bunchy in the shoulders and it looks wrinkled, but it's not. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Likes help me. They also make my mother happy. She loves to tell her friends how many likes I've gotten on a video. It's apparently a very popular topic of conversation in Florida. My son. Tabitha, part one of 3. Tabitha, you put me to it, huh? What would you believe a spare for your client to receive for settlement if they had a slip and fall accident at work down the metal cement stairs, the grip was worn down, client sustained concussion, later turned into post-concussion syndrome, neck strain, shoulder, a lot of injuries, treated with steroid injection, hip, bone bleed. Fair, not spare. What would you be a fair offer? Okay, well, first of all, we're talking New York or not New York. I can only really answer about New York, but even if it is New York, I need to know average weekly wage, I need to know lost time. The fact that the metal stairs grip was worn, that workers' comp is a no-fault system, although we are working on a stair case right now with really severe head injuries, big case that we're working on at the moment. So this strikes a chord. But ultimately, fault doesn't matter. So if the stairs are in great condition or shitty condition, it doesn't matter. It does matter if there's a third-party lawsuit. That's really where bigger value can come into play. But in terms of evaluating a workers' compensation dollar value on your situation, I would need a lot more information. If you do want to go over it, give me a call, 212-406-8989. Enjoy the time with the daughter. My fiance is home, and they're both nursing colds, and we're going to, like I said, taco night. And Big Daddy is hungry. Jacqueline Carter, I'm on light duty now for a side and back injury, but I can't sit in these chairs at the job. It makes my back hurt more. The doctor told me to take Motrin. Okay. Your doctor knows best. I don't see a follow-up to your question. If you have an issue with that, maybe you want to get a second opinion. So you can do that. Here's one. Oh, I love that picture. Hi, do you think if I resign from my job, they will agree on a lump sum payout? So resignations, we've talked about this before. A lot of insurance companies, a lot of employers require resignations as a precursor or a simultaneous act to settling the case, and it drives me bonkers, but it does happen. If you're not working there, it can't hurt. It can only help. There's this fear that you now know how to get money through a workers' compensation case, and you're now an evil-brained person who's only going to go and have new accidents and injuries at work, and they're fearful that you're going to take all their money. It's such crap. I can't stand it. It's such crap. It's the resignation agreement. I've had this. I do this once a week with somebody in my office where I tell them about my ideas on how it got started, and how it's a marketing ploy by carriers and by their attorneys, and I freaking hate it. But you should be okay, dude. Call your lawyer. Derek's answering Abner. I wouldn't do too much. I don't remember Abner's question. All right, folks, I'm just running short on energy and time. Mojo, why would profiteering insurance companies want to settle when the interest rates are high? They would rather put that in an annuity and pay you bi-weekly, hoping you die before you get the settlement. Insurance companies do a lot of things with their money. They are limited legally by what they can and can't do with their money. Here in New York State, we have ETF deposits. You might have seen that on your cases for you classified people out there, where they have to deposit money into an account to make sure that that money's always there to pay you. But yeah, insurance companies do a lot with their money, which is why when you do work out a settlement, especially on a cap case where they have to pay you a certain amount of money over a certain period of time, you don't get the full cap. They'd rather keep that money, invest it, put it in an annuity, put it in whatever they're allowed to put it in that's going to earn them more money over time, and just pay you out bi-weekly at a time. But all that being equal, if they can get you off their books, that is something they need to do too. So that's why that happens. Great question. Folks, I know there's a bunch of other questions here. Please, like Derek says, like the video. If you want to, please subscribe. Mojo likes the haircut. Thanks. I just got it last week. Needed it. But again, folks, I appreciate all the great questions, comments, commentary. You guys are awesome. It really and the comments at the beginning on the videos have been great. And I try to answer whenever I can, whenever there's a comment on a video through YouTube. So please, if you have any questions, you want to call me. I see somebody asked me for my email address. Just call the office, 212-406-8989. They'll shoot me a quick message. We'll get in touch. I try to answer every question I can. And it does get hard. But like I said, people have been calling with all sorts of questions and issues and problems, and I try to do everything I can to help everybody. Jay Wizzles asked me a quickie on IG: is travel reimbursement counted separately for compensation payments? Yes, it's not a payment of compensation; it's a reimbursement of out-of-pocket expenses. So yes, that is different. Tabitha says, "Thank you for your time. Thank you for the questions." Derek, thank you for the great comments. Thank you, everybody, with your cases. Hope you have the best of luck. But please give me a call if you need me. Otherwise, let's see here. When are we going to come back? When is this family getting back together, folks? The 22nd? Ooh, I have a 4 o'clock deposition. Maybe we give that one out. Maybe. Next Wednesday, I'm going to the Ranger game on Tuesday. The Rangers starting to look good again, huh, folks? You know it. I know it. Let's put us down for 4:30. I'm going to talk to Cy about schedule next Wednesday, 4 or 4:30, and we'll have a chat. Let's go live. There is a video I want to have a little discussion about that I've been looking at, a UPS video. Very interesting. We're gonna do a little presentation and discussion about that. We're gonna have some chats about some other topics. As always, this is what we're talking about here. You want me for president 2030? There's no election in 2030. 2028. Yeah, 2028. You guys write me onto the ballot. If you can get me elected, I'll do it. I'll serve. And it'll be great. I will do good things for everybody because I'm being an idiot. So next week, yeah, put it on your calendar next Wednesday. I'm going to shuffle the schedule around a little bit. 4:30 around that time, we'll have another get together, folks. Thank you so much for all your great comments and questions. And I will see you next week. Stay safe out there. Please have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks, guys.